Thank you, Marion. I wish my religious education had been presided over by two such delightful gentlemen. Well, now we come to the last of our 6 finalists in the Youth in Business competition. And we're very pleased to welcome to Pebble Mill at 1 Mr. Michael Newton of Dedicated Microcomputers Limited.
Hello.
Welcome, Michael, to Pebble Mill. Well, first of all, computers is a fairly specialised field, and it's quite a serious job to go it alone, I would imagine, in a field such as this. What was your background?
Well, I was always very interested in electronics, even when I was in my early teens. I enjoyed playing around with old televisions and trying to repair those, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. And when I was in the 6th form, I first got introduced to computers and found them very, very interesting. I did a degree at Manchester University in computer science. And while I was at university, I worked in a computer shop in Manchester, which at that point was one of very, very few computer shops in the country.
Right, so having established that you had the technical know-how, how did you go about, for instance, raising the finance to set yourself up?
Well, I approached various friends and relatives who would be able to lend me an amount of money to get started. We then went to the bank with an overall proposal as to what we felt we could do and how much money we felt it would take. And although we were unable to raise a very small amount of money between the various friends...
Yes, how much did you actually raise?
It was about £6,000.
And then the bank matched it with another
right,
6.
Yes.
So you only had £12,000. And what's your last turnover?
Well, at the end of last month, it was about 530,000.
So it's over £500,000 in how long?
Yes. Just over 2 years.
It's remarkable. Well, if we could have a look now at what has generated this marvellous turnover. If we could start at the very end there, first of all, this is your main product at the moment,
this is the one that we've sold the most of, yes.
Right,
There's
it's
about
called Snooker Light.
That's right. There's just over 200 of these in the country, and what they do is they monitor the table usage in snooker clubs and do the charging such that they know how much to charge the people when they've finished playing. It connects into the light switches, and as you can see, it displays the information on the screen while the table's in use, and then at the end prints out a bill. Right,
but you're not the only firm to produce machinery like this, are you?
No, the first month in which we launched our product, there's various other companies. There'd already been a couple in the market. There's about 3 or 4 others joined in at that point exactly the same time as we did. Quite a few of these have now withdrawn again.
But how do you fare in terms of how many actual apparati you have out at any one time?
Well, we've now got over 250 machines around the country, which is a very sizable chunk of the market, and as far as we know is considerably in excess of a number of machines any other manufacturer has made.
Right. Now, how much would the Snooker Light cost?
In a typical installation, you're talking about somewhere in the region of about £2,000.
And then you do this smaller one here called the Micro Light.
Right. Obviously, £2,000 is an awful lot of money if you've only got 4 or 5 snooker tables.
Right.
So we identified a need for a smaller machine that was much lower cost. So this is the result. Instead of the monitor, it's got very simple displays, and it's about £1,000. This one will do up to 12 tables.
OK, and we move on finally to your pièce de résistance, which is a sort of security system, isn't it,
yes,
for cameras in shops. If I could just demonstrate here, if I can lean forward and do it back to front. When I press these buttons here, you get a change in picture, which is from camera to camera, isn't it?
Yes, that's
right.
Now,
how does this differ from existing systems?
Well, normally, at the moment at which you're recording the pictures from the camera, you'll be able to select which camera you're going to record. The advantage of this unit is it allows us to record all the cameras at once on one single videotape, and then, as we've seen here, pick out any one of those pictures to play back at a later time. And this is just one application of a microprocessor-controlled video processing board that we've designed. There's all sorts of applications in things like industrial control and other security applications for it as well.
Now, all this must take quite a lot of manpower. How many people do you actually employ?
At the present time, we've got a staff of 18, and there's another 2 starting early January.
Now, I believe you mainly take people who are either unemployed or starting for the first time, is this right?
Yes, the whole staff's overall very young. I think the average age at the moment is about 22. Quite a lot of the people that do the actual assembly work started with us on things like YTS schemes, and we've since taken them on full-time.
Right. Well, we wish you every possible success in the Youth in Business final. Thank you very much for joining us today. And don't forget, the actual final itself is this Thursday.